this computer. Okay, we are going to today start actually the ninth diber, the ninth commandment, and I'm going to tie into hopefully what's happening, a little bit of Pesach, and even maybe a little bit of approaching, getting our heads around this coronavirus and what's going on in the world. You can all see my screen? Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, you got me? Hello?
Okay, yes, hello, Barry Masterson. We're beginning now.
Okay, thank you.
Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Good, excellent. Do not be a false witness. Do not be a false witness. I'm actually going to start off. Actually, let me see if I can unmute all of you somehow. There's my control.
Going for a Hawaii field there, Rolf.
Okay, you can unmute yourselves. Sorry?
Going for a Hawaiian field day.
Oh yeah. I've taken lockdown seriously. Okay, here we are. I'm going to start off this session by asking you guys a question, and the question is, what do you see? Do not be a false witness. Do not be a false witness means when you call to court, you have to testify. You should testify truthfully. If you would think to yourself, what is the core value? What is that based on? What did God want in telling us? Don't give false testimony. What's underlying it? Anyone see any values, any principles, any beliefs that are contained here?
Be truthful.
Beautiful. Be truthful. Don't tell a lie. Be truthful. Excellent. Good. So the value of truth. This is where we find the value of truth. I actually think we also find it in the second commandment, which is do not have any idols. Idolatry is also a question of true and false. Anyone else want to offer something?
Wouldn't it imply that you have to speak correctly and that you can't speak falsely about people? Does Lashon Hara fall into this category as well?
Oh, beautiful, right? So being careful with your speech. Be careful. Don't go to court and lie. It's a message that your words should be beautiful. Good. What else?
Isn't idolatry connected with jealousy in some way? Or is
wow, you see, guys, you think I'm a rabbi because it's the wisdom of my mother that has genetically been implanted in my soul. Yes, very, very, very much so. Yes, I agree. The question is, what's here with the power, with the false witness? What are we dealing with over here? So I think there's one, I would just add one more principle, and that is the principle of justice. The principle of justice. The court system, there's a system of the courts, and you're being asked to testify, do not be a false witness, says make sure to achieve justice. And if we think about it, and I'm going to share my screen with you now, and say goodbye to all of you. But if you want to come back, please just unmute yourself and speak. We like you to speak. Let's share my screen with you. So you'll notice that the curriculum, the way that I wrote it, is focused on the power of speech. I think Mark said that. Mark, get a brownie point. Eat your brownie before Pesach, right? So the power of speech, and the idea is that we should be careful. We should be careful with our speech. And in fact, what we're going to learn today, hopefully, is that we can use our speech in amazing ways. We can actually do so much good with our speech. So let's start off over here. Let's start off with an introduction. Human speech allows us, amongst other things, to collaborate. Right? In fact, maybe that's one of the abilities that human beings have more than animals. Right? Strength, physical strength. Elephants have more physical strength. Sight. The eagle has better sight. What do we have that really allows us to conquer and rule this world is our ability to collaborate. We collaborate through speech, right? That way we can communicate with each other in a very sophisticated way, and we can communicate from generation to generation. That's probably the biggest asset of collaboration. Advocate, give comfort, but also cause pain. We can cause a lot of pain and suffering through speech as well. We will explore the responsibility that comes with this unique power of speech. So, human speech is unique. Let's look at this. In the beginning of creation, let's go back to the beginning. It says, "V'yetza Hashem Elokim es ha'adam, afa min ha'adama." God created man, dust from the earth. V'yipach ba'apav nishmas chaim. He blew into him. He gave life. Inanimated? No. He gave man a nishmas chaim, a living spirit. V'yihi adam lenefesh chaim. And a person became a nefesh chai. What is a living being? The Torah is translated in many languages. Of course, the most significant translation is someone called Unclus, who translated it into the Aramaic. And the Lord created man dirt from the ground, and he blew into his nostrils a living soul, and it was for a speaking spirit in man. That means that above all the other animals, man became a speaker. Rashi says, a living soul, vihi lenefesh chaya. A cattle and beasts were also called living souls in the Torah. But this one of man is the most alive of them all, because he has the additionally been given intelligence and speech. And in fact, when we categorize the world, it's a mystical idea, but we're really in Jewish thought, the way to categorize the world is mineral, vegetable, animal, and medaber. Medaber is a speaking being. And so we see from here that what the Torah points out is that our capability of speech is our uniqueness. That's really what human beings are about. What is a human? An animal that can speak, that has this higher level. We're above the animals in that sense. The questions over here, in what way is human speech different from the sounds animals make when communicating? If so, in what ways is human speech unique? And, obviously animals do communicate one with another, yet they don't have what we call speech. And certainly from a Jewish, from the text point of view, saying that this is the uniqueness of man, there's something about our speech which animals do not have. What do you think that is? How is that different? Anyone want to?
They make sounds.
They make sounds, right? They make sounds. They don't have
presumably
words. They don't have a language which can be written down, which is made up of parts and etc. Yeah, 100%. How does that make it? What edge or what extra abilities does that give us?
It means we can write stories and we can pass that down to the next generations.
Right. So there you go. Right. We can write it all down. Think about the development of anything. Right. Think about the Industrial Revolution. Think about the revolutions of advancement and technology. which have taken place, someone starts to learn from what came before them, and then they add a little bit. And then the next generation comes along, or the next person in the line comes along and says, wow, okay, you took it that far, I'll take it even further. Imagine if you had no way to record it, right? So that maybe that's why animals, you imagine the cows are still doing what the cows did when they were created. They're no different. They have not developed at all. But look at us humans. Look how we've conquered this world. Look how much we've learned. Also, there's a lot to go, apparently. But yes, that allows us to collaborate and advance. Very good. What else? Anyone else? Can you educate? I think it's probably part of the same thing, right? Can you educate without language? And it would seem that you could do basic education, right? We've all seen the lion taking its little cub and teaching it what it does, but a sophisticated education not. So I heard a most beautiful idea from Rabbi Jonathan Sachs on the Haggadah talking about Pesach. He says, when you look in the Torah, you find something quite remarkable. Most of us are, in fact, all of us here are originally from South Africa. Adam is now in Israel, but he's actually from Zimbabwe, but yeah, whatever, satellite. So what was the message of freedom? What was the message of freedom when Nelson Mandela came out of prison, and when the ANC was able to become the governing party of the country? What were the messages of freedom there? What were the messages of freedom for any people? People speak in these grandiose terms about now that we are free and that we're going to there'll be equality and there'll be equity and there'll be everyone is free. Hallelujah. All right? Praise and etc. What does the Torah do? When Moses and God is telling Moses to tell the people, when Moses is telling the people, we're going to leave Egypt, right? It's uncanny. I don't like to speak in prophetic terms, because I'm sure one day God's going to appear to me and actually give me prophecy. And if I speak rubbish before then, no one's going to believe me. So, but in Egypt, everyone was told to stay at home. Do not go outside of the home. There is a Megafa. There's a pandemic going on. Stay at home. And who was that? That was right? The many Meforshim, actually, many of the commentators say that actually anyone in the street would die. The firstborn was God, and he came, and that's why we needed the blood on the door, that he jumped over the houses and then did not kill the Jewish firstborn. But says Rabbi Sachs, what was Moses' message? What was his freedom speech? What's the freedom speech that he gives 4 times? And if we look into the Haggadah, it's an amazing thing. He says, "V'higadata lebincha." Tell, Haggadah means Haggadah. Tell the story. To who? Levanecha, to your kids. How is it that you're going to maintain this civilization? How is it that you are going to, from generation to generation, remember where you came from, who you are, and what your mission is? There's only one way: education. Educate your children, right? Get those kids to ask Manish Tana and provide them with answers. And that is the way that a civilization lasts for eternity. It's not through what did every other civilization, how did they think to survive, right? Was it buildings and expansion and, right? No. The way that we survive is through speech. Now, there's a very deep concept by the Arizal. The Arizal was a Kabbalistic rabbi, lived in Sfat in the Dark Ages, and he was a light. He was a light in the Dark Ages. And he said, if you look at the word Pesach, so it's Pesach, and it's written like this. And if you change it, if we just take this pay, we could write not pair with the vowel, but pair with the hey. And pair with the hey, what's that? A pair is a mouth, right? Mouth, and what's sach? To speak. So the whole idea of Pesach is the mouth speaks. It's a time when we talk about, right? We tell our children what happened. And there's a very, very deep concept that a friend of mine shared with me recently is on Purim. It's very interesting. One of the major themes of Purim is tzniut, is being hidden, right? The whole story of the Megillah, God is hidden. Mordechai tells Esther to hide where she comes from. There's a lot of hiddenness over there. And what's the idea? The idea is that our spirituality, our emunah, our belief is in God who is largely hidden. Right? On Motzi Shabbos, there's a beautiful song to sing, Kel Mistate, God, the one who hides himself. Right? God is hidden in this world. Do we see him? So there was once in history that we saw him when we came out of Egypt and got the Torah at Sinai. God wanted us to see it that forever we would know that it's true. But from then on, the way that we understand it, the way that we transfer it from generation to generation is through the power of speech. From telling it to ourselves to telling it to our kids, this is how we have lasted as an anomaly. 2,000 years without a land, and now, Baruch Hashem, we have this land, right? We lasted that long only because we understood, and that's really the power. If you think about the power of the Seder night, that we take a piece of matzah and we eat it just like our forefathers. But you know what? Just to enact it wouldn't be enough. We need to speak. We need to give it meaning, right? The meaning of life is often hidden, and we reveal it through our speech. So that's another aspect of this unique ability of human speech is really the ability to describe the abstract, the ability to describe spirituality. That for sure no animal can do, right? It's this ability to put into the word that which we cannot see, and it's an amazing thing, you know, this virus, this coronavirus, we cannot see it. Yes, under very, very strong microscope, you could probably get a glimpse of it. But most of us, we cannot see it. And the whole world is changed. The whole world is a completely new world for something that we couldn't see. And it's just words. And, you know, we see the consequences. Of course we see the consequences. And to me, one of the most important things is, you know, what do we hope for? Do we hope for the virus to go away completely and just return to normal? I just want my old life back. I want to be able to go down the road I was going. This has been a big obstacle. It doesn't work for me. Or are we sitting here thinking and extracting this spirituality, extracting the messages from our experience and saying, you know what? Yes, this is very difficult. Yes, there's a lot of pain and suffering and even death. You know, I have to tell you that New York is especially the Jewish community, it's really sad. We know of people that have died. My daughter has a friend who was just here the other day. Her father, 50-year-old, died. It's really, there's a tremendous amount of death. It's terrible. but we sit, thank God, most of us, we sit here, we're not really personally affected. We're able to continue in a very constrained way, but we should be thinking and extracting and being able to put into words what are the choices that I'm going to make when life gets back to normal. So it might take the world a long time to get back to normal, a long time, who knows. But when it does get back to normal, have we been able to not just get a sense of, it's nice to spend time with our children. It's important to them. It's important to play games with them. It's important to relate to them more. It's important to call people up and just say, how are you doing? What's going on? Are you okay? That can continue after this as well. It's important to just sit and think now and again. But we need to verbalize that. We need to take the Pesach. We need to the work that we do in the Haggadah. And the Haggadah is, we start the meal and then we stop it. We stop the meal and then we have this long Haggadah. And if you're in a really from house, it goes on forever and it drives you crazy, right? Talking. When are we going to eat? And the answer is, before we eat, before we go into our meal, let's just get straight who we are, what happened to us, why are we eating, what do we stand for? That's the whole power and beauty of a Pesach. So I think, to me, and I think what everyone else said, this is the most unique factor of our power of speech, which is indeed, huge, unbelievable. Okay, let's go on a little. How are we doing for time? Okay. The following texts illustrate a variety of ways in which speech can be powerful. I'm just trying to increase the size of my screen, but it's not really going there. Speech can be emotional, creative, spiritual, and intellectual. So we know, I'm not going to go through every source over here, but at the Tower of Babel, this is a negative illustration of collaboration. Everyone got together and said, let's work together. Right? Let's work together and build a building up to heaven and take on God. And what did God do? What did God do? And it says over here, they used the same language and the same words. So what did God do? God came along and he was mebalbel their lashon. He changed their speech. No one could speak to each other anymore. Why? Because the key to collaboration is communication. And it's amazing. Since then, maybe since then, the world has never been as united as now. Right? Maybe we're going all the way back to then, and now we have collaborative speech. We've got translators, we've got Google Translate. We can understand each other more than ever before, and we're working together more than ever before. Let's see maybe have we learned our lesson? Has the world learned its lesson? Are we going to use this newfound ability to understand, to know, to collaborate, to make this world a much better place? Who knows? Or is it just going to be good old selfish battle as before? This text illustrates the emotional power of words. Says Rav Soloveitchik in The Lonely Man of Faith. It's a book we all have to read. The verse says, this is a verse he's quoting from Job, "Let me speak then and get relief. Let me open my lips and reply. For there's a redemptive quality for an agitated mind in the spoken word." Something's bothering you? Speak it out. Speak it out. Right? Happy is the person that can do this. Right? I think the whole industry of psychology, as much as it heals people, it's therapeutic in the fact that people who are agitated can go and speak to someone honestly. Right? The fact that we are all, so many of us have issues and agitations and deep things, and we're embarrassed to admit it, right? Because we all Facebook pros, and we all want to put our best, our best facade forward, but we do need to speak. And a tormented soul finds peace in confessing. There's something very peaceful about turning to God and saying, God, I've messed up. There's something, even if a good friend or someone that can help you, same thing. Okay, in this text below, the Benoist Tzelafchad, these are the daughters of Tzelafchad. They stood before Moses, the entire assembly. They said, our father died in the wilderness, and he left no sons. That not our father's name be lost to his family because he had no son. Give us a holding amongst our father's kinsmen. And this was advocating, right? They came forth and said, hang on a second. We need to advocate for justice here. Our father didn't have any sons. Why is his portion in the land not going to go to us? And indeed, Moses goes to God, and God comes back and says, give them the land. They are correct. Well done. B'nai Tzalafchad for advocating for yourselves. Okay, intellectual speech, right? How do we pride ourselves as being intellectual, rational, knowledgeable people, deep people, right? Right? We have the Torah. Said Ben Hai. Turn it over and turn it over because everything is in it. We have the secrets of the universe, right? Explicitly, we have the secret of morality and ethics and elevated living and how to make what a good impact in the world is. But in a deeper level, we have the secrets of the universe at our fingertips. It's my speech all day long, and it's all in words. The whole Torah is words, words, words. Now, when Moses, we know this tragic story at the end of towards the end of the Torah, and the people needed water, and the Lord spoke to Moses and said, "When your brother Aaron take your brother, you and your brother Aaron, take the rod and assemble the community before their very eyes. Order the rock to yield its water. Thus you shall produce water for them from the rock and provide drink." And Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice with his rod. Out came copious water in the community. Okay. And the Lord said to Moses, "Because you did not trust me enough to affirm my sanctity in the sight of the Israelite people, therefore you shall not lead this congregation into the land that I'm giving them." If you think, Moses, that the only way to force is through might, is through striking, you can't lead my people into the land. Because my land, the land of Israel, for the Jewish people, more than any other land in the world, has to go with the Torah, has to go with the words of the Torah. This is going to be a community, an exemplary community for the entire world. It's got to be led by words. And to sum it up, what was the lesson that the people could have learned that Moses did not teach them? That if you had used that with words, you can bring water even out of a rock. So that's just a few examples of how we use speech, and it's really cause for thought about how do we use our speech. Are we maximizing it? Are we using it in a thoughtful way? When we open our mouths, are we learning more? Are we challenging each other intellectually? Are we advocating? Are we bringing the best out of each other through our speech? Are we collaborating properly? Come on, let's call 20 friends. What needs to be done in our community right now? How can we help? Are we offering people and expressing our own emotions? These are just some of the examples of how we use speech in our life, and as we will continue, and I think we'll continue next Monday if that's okay for everyone, because of Pesach. We'll have another session next Monday and go through a few more details about the power of speech as a core value, as something that we recognize as
Just
important.
interject at this moment and just tell you a very sweet story about speech.
Yes.
Yesterday, I had a very emotional and wonderful hour. One of my cousins, and we are 16 first cousins living all over the world. One of our cousins got us all together on Zoom, and it was the most amazing hour where we all spoke to each other. Some of us hadn't seen each other for years and years because we're all over the world, and we were all together on the screen speaking to each other and finding out what's going on in our lives. And then a picture of our grandparents came up on the screen. All of us, and there were 16 first cousins plus husbands and wives, so we were about 30 people on the screen. But it was the most amazing communicative hour of people who we hadn't really thought about in so long. And also, you know, from a technological point of view, very exciting that this can actually happen today. Anyway, I just wanted to just say this is a little,
That's a beautiful, beautiful example.
yeah.
Very nice.
So that was speech.
Yes. Okay, everyone. If there are any questions or comments, now's your time.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Yeah.
and wishing you all a Chag Kosher v'Sameach. It's going to be a much smaller Pesach than we're all used to.
Much stranger Pesach,
But I think actually it could be a much deeper Pesach than we're all used to. And, you know, we've got a little bit more time. We don't have to rush anywhere. We don't have people. You've got little kids, of course you do, but you know, a lot of us won't have little kids, too many driving us crazy. And it's just, we're going to be home, and we can
Speak
really
for yourself.
we can really think, we can really deepen, I think really deepen our experience through this Pesach. So wishing you all a Chag Sameach, and we'll see you on Monday at the same time.
Can you not do a